See this picture? That's a snapshot of me being caught on hidden camera using the same pickup line to quickly meet, arouse, and take home the hottest girls, often within 5 minutes of meeting them. In this shocking expose video, you're going to learn the exact techniques and lines I used. Just keep in mind, the real magic occurs when you combine this line with a scientific breakthrough that bypasses a woman's natural defenses, the part of her brain that says no to sex, and instead walk through the back door of the female mind. I know, because in my case, it allowed me to sleep with well over 100 women. Hint, this is about activating her sexual unconscious so that she starts getting wet and thinking about sex within minutes of meeting you. If you think that number sounds crazy, or out of reach, or even unbelievable, 1. You'll see proof how an undercover film crew verified everything and began following me around and studying my simple, scientific method for seducing women fast. And 2, why this is not about sleeping with a huge number of women. It's really about giving you a roadmap for getting laid that's so simple and stunningly effective, getting girls becomes insanely easy from this day forward. Because as you'll soon see, regular guys, including virgins, have been using this to get laid multiple times per week. The most insane part is, they did it without being tall, good-looking, or even halfway handsome, without shredded abs or buff muscles, without a high-status car or any signs of wealth, without spending money on drinks or fancy dates, and without spending years failing before success. Success was nearly instant for them, and it didn't matter if they were bald, old, short, below average looking, white, black, Indian, or Asian, chubby, shy, or any other excuse guys typically make for not getting laid. That's what happens when you go around a woman's natural or socially programmed defenses and enter the back door. It gives you the ability to seduce virtually any woman, anytime, in minutes, rather than days, weeks, or never. Me and my students are living proof. Our hookups began in all different types of places, including on the street, makeup stores, clothing stores, parties, events, bars, clubs, and much more. Here's a quick clip. See the evidence for yourself and how you can do the same in mere minutes after watching this video. As a guy who went years without getting laid, who suffered the most humiliating story imaginable, which I'll share in just a moment, I can't tell you how good it feels to go out knowing with almost 100% certainty you can go out anywhere, including bars, nightclubs, coffee shops, grocery stores, and even just walking down the street, and quickly bring a hot girl home to hook up. No more rejection. No more sitting on the sidelines fearing rejection. No more days, weeks, or months without sex, with your balls feeling like they're shriveling up. This isn't the lame, obvious, be confident or be an alpha male type advice out there. This levels the playing field and finally gives regular guys like you and me unlimited, near instant sexual access to the hottest women. If you told me that over the last few years I could use this to sleep with 143 different women, there's no way I would have believed you. Just again, remember that I reached that number doing a ton of experimentation, following the scientific discovery I'll share with you in just a sec. Sleeping with that many girls is not for everyone. In fact, many extremely shy guys are using this to only hook up with 1 or 2 new women per week. In my case, I was practically forced to sleep with that many women during a controversial experiment I underwent, and as part of a story so crazy, it feels like even Hollywood couldn't have written it. My name is John, and let me say, I was beyond bad with girls in college. In fact, by the time I had started my 4th year, I still hadn't been laid. Embarrassing to admit, but 100% true. The only time I even kissed a girl up until that point was during a random spin the bottle game at a frat party, and I still remembered being terrified and actually trembling as it happened. The kiss was about as awkward as you'd expect, but thankfully she didn't laugh or tell all her friends about it. And I remembered being haunted by questions like, why do I suck so bad with women? What's wrong with me? The volume of these questions only got worse in an advanced psych class I had in my last quarter of school. There was a girl, Cynthia, who I would have given my left nut to be with. She was about 5'8", curvy, yet athletic body. She was on the tennis team. Golden brown hair, tan skin, and to top it off, she had a pretty girl next door type face. Every day, I'd be in class and just be tortured by how hot she was and how unattainable she seemed. I only ever said hi to her once. I was just too nervous. But for some reason, Cynthia had a friendly vibe. She would usually smile and didn't have that bitchy look on her face that hot girls typically have. Because of that, one day after class, we were walking in the same direction, and I worked up the nerve to say hi and asked if she wanted to have coffee. I still remember that split second before she answered, where I felt utterly terrified and expecting her to say no. Actually, we bumped into each other a few times leading up to exams, and I'd ask her if she wanted coffee, and each time she said yes, I was still surprised. Looking back, I think she actually kind of liked me, but unfortunately, I didn't believe she could possibly be interested, so I just assumed she wanted to chat about school stuff. All the while, I was internally fantasizing about her and the potential romance that I believed would change my life. Pathetic, I realize, but hey, that's where I was at. Our little coffee dates didn't last very long, sadly. You see, my professor for the class with Cynthia had office hours 3 nights per week from 6 to 8 p.m. Yet on this day, a Wednesday, he actually canceled his office hours in front of the entire class, but I didn't hear him. I guess I was paying too much attention to Cynthia and missed his announcement. So that evening, I realized I needed help with one of my papers, and not knowing about the cancellation, I decided to head over to his office and ask him a few questions. I still remember the feeling of walking through the main building door, down the hallway, no other teachers or people around, and hearing moaning as I approached his office door. What the hell? No way, I thought. Maybe I had the wrong door number. But nope, same office I'd been to before. It was clearly his. I couldn't believe it. For one, this professor was ugly as sin. Big nose that reminded me of Howard Stern, beady eyes, glasses, balding hair that was combed over, and what little hair he had was gray. Not only that, but he was about 40 pounds overweight, with a gut and love handles that hung over his dockers. How the hell was this guy having sex? And with who? I left the building and sat on the bench right outside the building for the next 15 minutes, seeing if I should wait and come back after he was finished. And that's when the biggest bomb was dropped. Out walked Cynthia. She said, hey John, kind of nervously, what are you doing here? I was coming for office hours, I said, trying to hide my shock. You didn't hear they were canceled? He made an exception for me tonight, but I don't think he's available now. Anyway, I'm late. I better go. And she quickly scurried off. I couldn't believe it. No way this disgusting guy was just hooking up with this goddess, the object of my fantasy. I waited for her to walk by and then stormed up the steps, walking quickly toward his office. I knocked on his door and he told me to come in. I didn't wait to begin asking. With a very loud and intense voice, did you just have office hours with Cynthia right now? She told me you did. He didn't realize I knew yet, so he admitted she had been there. And that's when I told him, you don't know this, but I actually came by earlier. I actually heard you guys having sex. His face turned white with shock. He didn't know what to say. He began to beg and plead for me not to say anything. He explained how he was about to get tenure, along with a big pay raise, and if they found out, he'd be fired and lose everything. His life would be ruined. He promised to do anything, give me any grade I wanted. Except I didn't give a damn about grades. I wanted to know how he was hooking up with this incredible girl. I asked him how it happened. I told him I didn't give a damn if there were others. It seemed like there were. I just wanted to know how, because it seemed so improbable to me. I don't get it, I told him. No offense, but you're not much to look at. Professors don't make that much money. Was it all so these girls could get A's? In return for my silence, he offered to share 3 little-known secrets for seducing not only women on campus, but any woman based on cutting-edge science that had not hit mainstream yet. The first secret addresses the 2 main parts of the brain that impact sexual choices. I still remember his ugly-ass face as he began explaining this to me. John, the first thing you must realize is that there are 2 main parts of the brain when it comes to making important decisions. And for women, sex is one of the riskiest and most important decisions she can ever make. He went on to explain that, on one hand, you have the frontal lobe, or front part of the brain. It's involved in language filtering and discrimination, which is a fancy way of deciding whether something is good or bad for us. Now, the problem is, in most cases, casual sex isn't actually a smart decision for a woman. Sure, she gets pleasure out of it, but it's risky. If she's branded as promiscuous, i.e. slutty, her social value is lowered. Or if the birth control doesn't work, she's the one who gets saddled with a kid and must care for him or her if things don't go right. These are just two of some major implications for women around sex. It's rarely the smart decision for her conscious mind. Now, I'm not trying to be a downer, only to help you understand why women often have a knee-jerk reaction against sex. It's not your fault. The fact is, their rational and protective brain is trying to avoid risk. This part of her brain, which researchers from Oxford reference as the orbitofrontal cortex, OFC, in their studies, found that it is responsible for quickly assessing consequences of actions. It very quickly assesses risk versus reward. To put it more simply, you know how really hot girls often have a mean, annoying fat friend who loves to cockblock? Well, because sex is rarely, if ever, the most rational decision, it's this part of her brain that wants nothing more than to say no, and it will cockblock even your best game and laugh in your face. It really sucks. But there's an even bigger problem. Because nearly everything you've ever been taught about trying to get laid, both by the traditional dating expert and the so-called pickup artists, attempts to work on this frontal, cock-blocking part of the brain. Think about it. When you're trying to tell a girl cool things about yourself, or using painfully obvious or clever or cheesy pickup lines, you're essentially triggering this discriminating part of her brain. You activate her inner fat girl cock-blocker, and in a split second, you get rejected. I was floored as my professor explained this to me. It made so much sense now. But here's the cool part, he told me. John, all hope is not lost, because research also showed there's an anterior part of the brain that does not discriminate in the same way. It responds to quick cues and makes deductive leaps before key decisions. In layman's terms, the parietal lobe, which is the anterior region or back part of the brain, doesn't act as a filter like the front. It makes deductive leaps, which is really just a more informed leap of faith. And to do so, it integrates information from other senses. This is huge when it comes to women and seduction, because it means by tapping into her other senses, you can get her brain to jump to the conclusion that sex with you is a good idea. In a landmark study involving monkeys, when this lobe of the brain was stimulated, they had increased confidence as they made a predictive decision about the future. In this case, the direction of a moving object on the screen, even with no further positive evidence. To translate that into interactions with women, when you follow the steps I'm about to share with you, it stimulates this part of her brain and gives her the feeling, hey, I should totally hook up with this guy, which then triggers the action you want. This part of the brain is 100 times easier to seduce. Just present the right cues, stimulate her senses in the way I'm about to show you, and it's literally like you walk around her inner fat girl, go through the back door, and get right to the hot, horny part of her psyche that doesn't want to overthink and really wants to experience pleasure. So that's the first secret. Go around the frontal lobe, the cock-blocking part of her brain, through the parietal back door, by triggering her senses in a way that makes her mind jump to the conclusion that sex is a good idea. And the entire process is insanely easy. I still remember when, once this sunk in and I decided to test this out, how shocked I was when it first worked. I didn't have any fancy pickup lines, thank God, and so I said, hey, can I meet you real quick? To a hot 5'7" brunette cheerleader at a frat party on campus. Yet, as my professor instructed, I did present her brain, the back door part, with some signals that his research had shown to work. I shifted my posture into a more powerful and dominant mode than I was used to affect her visually. Used my hands in a precise pattern that seemed unnatural to me, but she clearly liked. Shifted the tone of my voice to have more body in it, and I paid way less attention to the words I or she was saying, and definitely nothing too clever or cheesy. Still, I remember my shock when she was unbuttoning my pants back in my room just 45 minutes later. It was the first time I'd had any action in college, and with a girl who'd previously been way out of my league. This was only the beginning for me though, because there was another secret he taught me that really speeds things up. In a follow-up meeting, he said, "John, now that you see it works, let me give you another quick tip. This anterior parietal lobe of the brain, it works off rewards. When you look at its activity on a special screen, it literally lights up in the presence of a reward." Now in his case, and yes, this is sleazy as hell, he had a built-in reward system. The girls he seduced wanted preferential treatment and better grades, but he was also able to bag a bunch of the faculty. So he clearly got creative about rewarding non-students as well, which made me think, how could I give rewards to random girls who had no clue about me or what I had to offer? The answer, and this is a huge 5-star secret you'll want to write down, it has to do with authority and something I call compliance. Don't worry if you don't know what that means. Essentially, compliance just means that someone follows you or complies in the exact direction you are leading them. In this context, it's about rewarding good behavior and playfully punishing bad. Think about it like this. Say you're talking to a girl and you want her complete attention because that increases your chances of getting her home with you. Well, women are programmed to see positive body language and affirmation as rewards from guys, especially guys they value. Likewise, this is also the type of behavior you want from her because it means she's interested and more likely to hook up. So, if she's displaying this positive behavior, strong eye contact, engaging talk, positive body language, you reward her. And if she's exhibiting bad behavior, like looking at her phone, talking to her friends, stuff like that, you'd punish her. And one way to do that might be to take away something, like approval or interest or praise, or to playfully joke that she's killing her chances with you. Still, this is a huge topic, and I'll tell you more about how to reward or punish in just a moment. But for now, I just want you to understand the concept. Because when I began adding this to my process of stimulating her senses and going through the back door part of her brain, the results accelerated massively. It wasn't long before I was getting laid multiple times per week, and my pickups were starting to get the attention of friends and guys who knew me. They all wondered how in the hell I was bringing home and having sex with so many new women. And, as you saw in the video, and more footage I'll share with you, these were hot women. But that wasn't the end of my journey or discoveries, because there was one last thing that sent my success through the roof and took my average seduction time from hours to minutes. In fact, it got so crazy, an internet production company approached me about filming the seductions in a totally undercover way that didn't mess up my process. It would be a win-win. They needed pickup footage for an upcoming show around dating and mating science. I would get undeniable proof on video that my techniques worked. Their filming was especially helpful in capturing the third and last aha my professor gave me. You see, the scientists found that touch is one of the ultimate rewards for this part of the brain. If you start to stimulate it by rewarding good, punishing bad, and then you work in touch, non-creepy touch of course, more on that in a moment, then you amplify this hyper-aroused part of her brain by 100 times. With the other approaches to seduction or getting the girl, it's almost like you having to sneak around the fat, cock-blocking friend in her brain. With this secret, it's as though, instead of the fat friend, you have a total nymph who is begging for you to come over and hook up. It totally changes the game. Once I started doing this, I could literally walk into almost any bar, any place in the country, use my simple little pickup line, create the right sensory cues through my body language and voice tone, then intensify her arousal with some well-timed touch, and literally take her by the hand and gently walk her out of the bar or club into a cab and back to my place for a night of insanely hot sex. I did this over and over, leading women out the venue so rapidly that other gurus began begging to know what I was doing. My seductions were so fast, even I wouldn't believe it unless the camera crew had been there to document it. Like this. Or this. And this one, oh my god, that was crazy. Thanks to my luck of running into my professor and him revealing this way to hack into the back door of the female brain, I changed my luck with women forever. It had nothing to do with looks, height, money, or any of that. And, in fact, I found that it worked especially well with women who claim to only date guys who are either hot, rich, athletic, tall, famous, and often say, "He's just not my type." And the reason for that is, the stronger her shield or filter in the front, the more susceptible she was to having the anterior or backdoor leap of faith brain trigger through heightened sensory stimulation. I was convinced this discovery will 110% work for anybody. And I got confirmation when the 50 initial seminar students who paid me $3,000 each used this method to sleep with over 330 women within 12 months of my first seminar, with many of them getting one new girl per week to as many as 30 in a single month. Before I got this product, my mind was clouded with lots of theories and conflicting knowledge on how to get girls. So I was getting very average results and thought to myself, why does taking girls home require so much effort, time, and practice? Luckily, I ran into John, and after watching his free video, I was sold. I thought his method was exactly what I had been looking for. After binge watching every hidden camera footage video, I have had some amazing realizations about how much faster and with how much less effort an average guy can take a girl home, get her number, and set up dates. I can't believe how quickly I can make out with girls now. It took me just one weekend to take my skills with women to the next level, and I started getting results I never expected I would get after countless rejections and failures with women. Listen to this. Within my first week of using the method, I accidentally met a girl who was a legit porn star and got her to sleep with me. To sum up, I feel there are a lot of theories and crap out there. My head was spinning with all the info. Now I have watched John's Occam's razor system countless times, and this is all anyone needs. It is the only product you need to get results extremely fast and easily. I was very skeptical when I first started checking out John's method. I couldn't believe that he was taking girls home so quickly and without spending too much time talking to them, since it was so counterintuitive to everything I learned from other coaches. In actuality, it's very, very legitimate, and I cannot emphasize enough how much more efficient it is than anything else I've come across in the seduction community. I've probably bought every other seduction program out there, and I can even tell you that almost all of them are extremely disappointing. Some are okay, as they'll instruct you on how to be an attractive and dominant guy. However, no other programs out there will teach you the most essential thing: how to meet and quickly take women home consistently. I mean, I was absolutely stunned when I managed to take home a different new girl 3 nights in a row for the first time in my life, right after I started applying Occam's razor. So I can say getting John's program will be a very transformative experience for anyone willing to take action and apply what he teaches. Hey John, this is Liam from London. I'm 19 years old and I'm writing you this quick email just to let you know how I did with your seduction method. Well, first of all, I debated whether I should share this, but I was actually a virgin when I came across your product, so I basically had zero experience with women. I didn't know how to talk to them, what to do to get them into you, and until I watched your video, I was far from even imagining that you can take home a girl you just met 5 or 10 minutes before. So I got your product exactly 2 months ago, and so far I've slept with 29 girls total. I told this to a few friends and they didn't believe me because I was a clueless virgin very recently. In case you think it sounds unreal too, let me tell you exactly how I did it. First of all, when I got the product, I watched every training and hidden camera demo video about 5 times and took careful notes and tried to memorize everything. Then I went out every day and every night for hours and applied your techniques with every girl I found. It was about my 3rd or 4th day when it all clicked, and I started managing to take a girl home pretty much every time I went out. I should also mention that I did all this with a friend that I showed your program and method to, and he is also getting similar results. So you really helped us out, man. Keep up the good work. I've never had success with women, and all the stuff I've bought and studied to learn how to attract women got me rejected more times than I care to mention. So when I met John, I was honestly ready to give up and just settle for whatever I could get. I remember asking him, why does hooking up with hot women take so much time, money, and energy? What he said in response changed my life forever. He said, they're actually more insecure than you are, which means they're extremely receptive to your influence. And establishing that influence in your initial interaction is more about what you don't say than what you do say. After binge watching every hidden camera footage video, I have had some amazing realizations about how much faster and easier it is for an average guy, like me, to take a girl home, get her number, and get laid. I can't believe how quickly I can make out with girls now. It took me just one weekend to take my skills with women to the next level, and I started getting results I never had expected I would get after countless rejections and failures with women. Listen to this. Within my first week of using the method, I accidentally met a girl who was a legit porn star and got her to sleep with me. This stuff works. Impressive, right? By starting the conversation off with a non-cheesy line, and then quickly stimulating her senses in a way that trigger her sexual unconscious, including visual cues, including powerful postures and body frames that look natural, sound triggers, shifting the tone of your voice very slightly, and touch, the right points on her body at the right times. And then using the power of compliance and reward to dial up her interest and arousal. Well, pretty much any guy was able to trigger lust in women and get sex more quickly and easily than he'd ever before in his entire life. And it was as easy as 1, 2, 3. Literally, say this, then do that, watch for this, and in a matter of minutes, she'd be visibly wanting you. As word about my method grew and guys began coming to me, I wondered what to call it. And because it was so simple and literally cut through all the complexity of mating and attraction, I had an epiphany. Maybe because I happened to be studying William of Ockham, who was a legendary philosopher and thought leader. This reminded me of my good old professor, who took the complex science and simplified the whole process for me. So I decided to call it the Occam's razor system. Because Occam's razor is a process that distills even the most complex concepts down to their bare essence. Since I was an engineering major, I tested everything my professor told me and created the simplest, fastest, most effective way to hook up with hot women day after day. It is really the only process out there that bypasses her rational frontal brain that thinks sex is bad or dangerous, and uses her senses and cues to move in through the back door, the sexual unconscious part of her brain. So she quickly begins thinking, I want this guy inside me now. Why have I created this program and am telling you about it here? Because I know how badly I struggled with women, and then how incredible I felt after implementing the 3 simple steps my professor taught me. And I know the insanely awesome feeling of having a stunning girl on my bed, her legs open, eyes telling me I'm ready. Then quickly peeling the wrapper of the condom open before we begin. If there's anything I miss, it's that feeling of shock and delight, like, is this really happening? And thinking, yes it is. So damn good. Nothing beats that joy of turning the corner, going from getting nothing to moments like that. And I want more guys to experience that themselves. See that download button right below the video? Before you hit that, let me tell you about the cool, extra stuff I'm going to give you free access to today. It begins with the entire video training program I'm going to give you access to today. Because if you've ever read or heard anything about the female psyche, you've maybe heard theories about the science of attraction. But the problem is, most of the attraction strategies taught to guys are designed to mimic some set of traits, like alpha, that women are believed to find hot. Which is okay, but they don't really get you anywhere. In addition to being obvious, advice on how to be confident or alpha doesn't really do anything for you. I'm talking about helping you learn how to hook up with really hot chicks on your own terms, the same day or night you meet them. And for that, you need practical actions you can take that produce predictable responses in women. It also means that how you interact with a woman is different, because whereas they work through the frontal cock-blocking part, your intention is to create enough arousal in her anterior primitive brain so you can sleep with her the same day. And that means attraction needs to be especially intense and sexualized. Not your standard, I might like this guy type of attraction, but to be blunt, she needs to be feeling a, I want this guy inside me right now type of attraction. Get the difference? You can't be a pussy or wait days or weeks to start paving the way for a sexual relationship. The seeds must be planted and reciprocated by her from the beginning, or it won't go anywhere. Don't worry, you don't have to be creepy or super aggressive. It's more about learning how to flirt in a sexualized way, while giving her a window to throw it back to you. In fact, I explain much more about this inside the training series you can access today, where you'll discover how to deliver the 7-word opening line that I've used to sleep with hundreds of women. I already mentioned it earlier, but the delivery and combination of cues you display are what makes it so insanely effective. Speaking of no pressure, armed with this line and the other techniques in the method, you'll quickly get over your fear of talking to any woman, no matter how hot. I'll also show you the simple secret to being fun and flirty in the first 5 minutes. This is a must if you want to get her to feel gut-level desire for you. How to never worry or wonder what to say to her ever. Why you have to plant the seed of sex in her mind fast during that first conversation, without sounding like a total perv. Most guys totally mess this up, and they either get labeled as creepy, or if she does like you but you don't do it right, as a guy she wants to go on endless dates before ever getting sexual with you, and we all know how annoying that is. How comedians use something called a stack to keep the audience laughing, and how to do this in conversations with girls, to make her laugh and stimulate the back door of her brain. 3 signs that reveal when a woman is ready for a direct, highly sexualized approach. I've used this to get amazingly hot women back to my place literally within 30 minutes of meeting them on the street. Never have an awkward moment again, simply by mastering something I call compliance. This is just one portion of the training where I walk you through the entire process, and already you probably see that it's not the same old attraction techniques that will never make any seriously hot woman want you in an uncontrollable way. Instead, I'm going to show you how to initiate conversations and then create intense, reciprocal attraction inside her that creates massive sexual tension. The kind of tension that can only be released through, sex. As you'll see in the core video training, once you understand it and practice a little, it's a lot like the scenario I described earlier. If you run into that inner fat girl part of her brain, it doesn't mean the interaction is over. And this is where most guys totally screw up. It just means you have to pause and then figure out a way to get around the cock-blocking girlfriend by stimulating the back part of her brain, which is easy once you understand how this works. Do this as I teach you, and it literally feels as easy as walking around the fat girl. And keep the entire process moving until she's back at your place. And the cool part is, the entire process you learn, from hello all the way to the bedroom, fits within this same pattern my professor taught me. Which means Occam's razor gives you everything you need to talk to and hook up with beautiful women the same day you meet them. It doesn't matter whether you meet her on the street, the coffee shop, bars, clubs, or even your local library. The location doesn't matter. Your looks don't matter. And I don't care how hot she is. If she's open to having fun and getting crazy with a guy, which almost every woman is and secretly fantasizes about, then I'll help you be that guy and give her an adventure unlike anything she's ever experienced before. This is literally the first time I've ever shared my Occam's razor blueprint. It's everything I've known and used to go from loser to world-class seducer with results and street cred to back it up. Now, in case you're wondering what this is going to cost you, let me break down everything you're getting, including some killer bonuses worth much more than the core training itself. This training covers the entire method with 20+ modules, so you know everything to do and say with every girl you meet, from beginning to end. Want to know what to do next time you see that hot hostess at the restaurant or the barista at Starbucks? Maybe you've seen her a bunch of times and there seems to be no attraction. Well, I'll give you 3 tricks for flipping a stale, no chemistry situation into a hot, I want you vibe almost immediately. Question about what to say when she tells you things are moving too fast. I'll give you 2 powerful objection handling lines that make it easy. Wondering how to get over your fear of talking to her and become the kind of guy who talks to every really hot woman he sees, I'll show you a simple way to trick your brain into feeling courageous without a single ounce of alcohol needed. This is literally the most comprehensive and yet simple approach ever devised. It's rare that anyone offers this much step-by-step video training because it's incredibly time-consuming to create and produce, but I really care about your success. Much of it comes from instructional videos, which allowed my students to hook up with over 330 girls. and was extracted from my $3,000 sold-out seminars, which lays the foundation. That makes it easily a $497 value, but yours free as part of the Occam's Razor system and program. It includes a multi-module, step-by-step core training series that helps you quickly master every step in the process, and then follow-up modules that help you hone some of the smaller yet no less critical skills in making this method work for you. As I noted, guys have watched just one presentation you'll get with the program, and they've gotten laid. One hooked up with 3 girls in a single week after watching it, and it's a tiny fraction of what you're getting with the entire package. I could have stopped there, but one reason why my students have gotten such insane results is that I always go the extra mile. So I've decided to throw in a bunch of extras that I'm convinced could double or triple the speed at which you succeed with this system. Join us today and you'll also get the complete Occam's Razor step-by-step manual. This summarizes the entire method, every single step, objection, and key trigger or point in the process of going from high to the bedroom. You'll quickly get a deep understanding of why her brain must depend on these shortcuts to sexual preference, and how to tap into them in a way that she loves and wants to experience. The feedback I've gotten with this manual is that it helps reinforce the video training so that you learn faster and don't forget a single thing, even the first time you go out to use it. Just like my student, who took just a basic understanding of this process out with him and hooked up with a stripper in his very first night. What's the value of this guide? Well, I would wager it has saved guys thousands in wasted money on drinks, expensive clothes, and other things that don't work. And I normally wouldn't part from it for any less than a couple $100. But join us today and you'll get it at no extra charge as part of this system. Next up is the opening and what to say guide. Because this always seems to be the biggest fear and sticking point for guys just beginning to improve their skills with women. Fortunately, with just a few powerful openers and some funny, effective follow-ups, you'll get the experience of immediate success, which eliminates fear and boosts your confidence. While most pickup lines don't work, there's no substitute for having a few powerful ways to walk up and begin a conversation. Especially when paired with knowledge of how she's likely to respond, what to say to her after that, all leading her down the path we've been talking about in this video. This is some of my best stuff, material not available to guys outside my $3,000 seminars, and easily worth $147. But you get it free when you activate your Occam's Razor membership today. You'll also get my legendary poll scripts and objection handlers, which are real-life scripts that I've used to poll women. It's just a fancy way of saying taking her home, from bars or clubs back to my place in 5 to 10 minutes. Other guys have used them just as effectively, including the London kid who went from virgin to 30 girls in a month. Every script comes with exactly what to say at each moment and includes variations and contingencies so you can perfectly adapt to any response she throws out. It's also the ultimate objection handler tool, because there are times when what you say does still trigger the front, cock-blocking part of her brain, and you need to quickly switch things up. But when you use the lines I provide, they quiet that part of her brain instantly, go around the back, and continue the process of getting her aroused and ready to go. You'll also see how to customize these scripts to you and your game, so they sound totally natural and believable to her, which is key. Another $147 value, again, yours free. You'll also get to check out my full hidden camera video pack. This is a complete set of hidden camera videos that demonstrate all the different situations you need to know how to handle. Because I'm mic'd up, you'll get to hear my successful pickups, but more importantly, you'll get to see the sensory cues that trigger intense attraction so quickly. Remember, 93% of communication is nonverbal, and this method is especially about triggering her senses in the right way. So you really need to see it for best results. Each of these situations includes full breakdowns by me, so you can understand everything that is being said and done. Like the seminar you're getting as part of the program. I had a guy just study these videos, how I walked up to the girl, delivered the first line, rewarded her good behavior, playfully punished the things I didn't like with disapproval, touched her in exactly the right ways, and then gently took her hand and walked her out of the club and straight back to my place. They say seeing is believing, But in this case, seeing is learning. And by watching these videos, you'll be imprinting this right onto your brain, forcing you to act differently the next time you're out and interacting with a girl. Best of all, your results will show the difference. Again, the only guys who've ever seen this stuff, video or in person, are those who paid me thousands for a seminar. As you can see, these are not your usual run-of-the-mill gifts you see included with online products. These are items that could easily sell like hotcakes on their own. But I'm determined to give you everything you need to hit the ground running. So I assembled even more tools that will help you conquer this process in your very first week of using it. The 6-week challenge, which helps you create a step-by-step action plan for implementing this entire process and ensuring you get the women you want. The For Your Eyes Only bonus workshop, covering a topic so advanced I don't want to even talk about it publicly. Rest assured, this is awesome, and by itself could get you laid tonight. The Get Women to Approach You guide, which shatters the myths about approaching women and helps you stop wasting time or rejection when you go out. The Rejection No More guide, so that you can kill the fear of rejection and its ugly, paralyzing effect from your mind forever. The Friend Zone Breakout guide, which is about how to avoid ever getting in the friend zone and how to get out if you've been placed there by a hot girl you desire. The Trigger Her Obsession guide, which outlines a secret for dialing up desire to levels that are almost dangerous to do in public. She may push you to take her into the bathroom if you use this. It's happened to me on more than one occasion. And you even get my Night Game worksheets, which will help you fix any sticking points, turbocharge your results, and make sure you're not just getting laid here and there, but consistently each week. Oh, and I almost forgot. You'll also get insider interviews with awesome guys who are monopolizing the hot girls in their area, all while embarrassing richer, better-looking dudes each night. Literally, by extracting the hottest girls right before their very eyes. Now, I know that's a ton of stuff, so let's summarize. You get the complete Occam's Razor video training system, $497 value. The Occam's Razor step-by-step manual, $197 value. The Opening and What to Say guide, $147 value. My legendary poll scripts and objection reversers, $147 value. Full hidden camera video pack, 2 weeks, $200 value. The 6-week challenge, $97 value. The For Your Eyes Only bonus workshop, $297 value. The Get Women to Approach You guide, $47 value. The Rejection No More guide, $39 value. The Friend Zone Breakout guide, $39 value. The Trigger Her Obsession guide, $47 value. That's a total value of $1,754. Yet you won't pay that, not anywhere close. Join us today and you get all of this for a price that's almost embarrassingly low. With a measly $67 investment today, you'll get complete access to the Occam's Razor method and total training program, along with thousands of dollars in bonus value. Not to mention that you're 100% protected by my money-back guarantee. That's right. Join us today. Begin using this method. Use it to get all the girls you want. See for yourself how incredibly simple, easy, and effective it makes the entire process of going from hello to hookup. And do that for 30 full days, which is the same amount of time one of my virgin students took to sleep with 3 hot new girls. Then, in the highly unlikely event you're not blown away, you can shoot me an email or a quick message and let me know you want a prompt, no questions asked refund. It's literally that easy. So if you're ready to get started, simply click the download button you see right here and you can begin immediately. I dare you to find a more proven, easy to use, more powerful system. One that is based on real science, is documented on camera, proven with students who have been laid hundreds of times, and especially not with all these additional tools at such a shockingly low price. Well, I'm confident in that dare, because you won't find anything that compares with Occam's Razor, not at any price. To get started and access all of this instantly, it's easy. Just click the download button right now, where you'll be taken to a secure checkout page, and you'll be confident knowing that your data is private and guaranteed secure by McAfee and VeriSign with 128-bit encryption. And then, within a matter of seconds, you'll unlock the secrets within the Occam's razor system and have the most desirable women eating out of the palm of your hand tonight. Remember, it had been years of painful virginity before I figured all this out. Occam's razor and the training you'll get, coupled with what I share inside your bonus materials, will change your results with women forever. Imagine being able to spot a girl, your exact type, and know that there's a good chance you could get her number, meet her later, even bring her back to your place, and that you could do this over and over until you found the perfect girl for you, never settling for anything less. Wouldn't you be happier? Would it be okay if some of your friends approached you in private and asked if you could teach them how to do it? Would your life be twice as good, 10 times better? Well, right now, you've got an opportunity to make a huge change. To grab the reins and join the select group of guys who are letting me train them in this process. Remember, I'm personally taking all the risk. You've got 30 days to return it if it doesn't work for you. Join us and get the complete Occam's razor method and training right now by clicking on the orange Click to Order Now button just below this video. And that's it. I can't wait to get this information into your hands. Gone will be the days when you're afraid to walk up to a woman you see, or having those conversations with women that are so boring and non-sexually charged that you know it's going nowhere. And gone will be those nights where you sit at home, frustrated, wondering if you'll ever be getting laid again. With Occam's razor and the rules I share in your $1,754 bonus package, you quickly become the guy that women constantly want to flirt and get sexy with. And you don't even have to think because you just get it. So again, if you're ready to up your game and begin attracting a higher caliber type of woman, the kind of woman that most other guys drool over and think is out of their league, and not just attract them, but actually hook up as quickly as you want, then simply click the download button below and get started. It's only $67 to get started, and you'll get instant access to the core training, the bonus PDFs and videos, all worth over $1,700 when sold separately. Yes, within a matter of seconds, you'll unlock the secrets within this proven system and be able to walk up to the hottest women you see each day, trigger intense desire, and then choose whether you want to leave with her number or try to get her back to your place right then and there. This will be like your daily reminder, pushing you, encouraging you, and making sure you get good at this. And let's be honest, is there any better feeling we men can possibly have than being really good with women? And if that feels good, how amazing must it feel to just have crazy hot chicks wanting you, chasing you, eager to please and go wherever you want to take them, including the bedroom. That's what's possible for you, and it can start today, right now. Think about it like this. As guys, most of our actions, our ambitions, our dreams are secretly connected in some way to the desire to hook up with hotter women. For some, it may be a bunch of women. For others, it might be that one perfect 10 girl they've always dreamed of. The point is, we spend our lives, our careers, a huge part of our time and money unconsciously trying to figure out how to get the hottest, most high-quality women. Sadly, most guys fail. They either don't get laid at all, or worse, they settle for an unexciting, unattractive, bitchy woman who chains him to a relationship or marriage and essentially ruins his life. I created this breakthrough program, in part, because I do not want that for you. So what are you waiting for? You'd have to be crazy not to take advantage of this. So hit the button now and get instant access. Because at this point, I have plenty of women, and I have an awesome career and lifestyle just coaching other guys one-on-one, or in small groups. I'm fine. I have a great life. Yet, I'm releasing this method to a limited test group of new individuals because I'm sick of seeing guys stuck. I'm tired of hearing about guys spending money that gets them nowhere, being the sucker, the shoulder to cry on, or get cheated on, the one stuck in the friend zone. Especially because I've figured out the answer. With Occam's razor, you have everything you need to hook up with as many girls as you want, as hot as you want, as often as you want. And I've proven this time and time again, on camera, and with a handful of students who have hooked up with over 330 different girls, and counting. Isn't it worth at least trying out the method and then deciding if it's right for you? I've done my part. I've not only eliminated all risk, I'm giving you almost $2,000 in free tools that will transform your results overnight. But only you can take the next step. Only you can click the download button below and get started. Do that now, and in under a minute, you'll be invited to set up your VIP account, where you'll immediately access the training. From there, your learning will progress rapidly, and you'll be well on your way to getting girls that seemed impossible just hours earlier. That's right, click below, join us, and you could be getting results as soon as tonight. Only you can take that step. I can help once you're in. Just like I've helped those in my inner circle transform their success with women forever. So do that now, and I'll see you in the Occam's Razor members area.